For those of you who are serious about screenwriting and you really want to get some work in, we have an entire year filled with workshops. So you can find all of that information on school.com. We will be releasing our syllabus/curriculum next week because we're going to take a look at it again since we have a lot of new people. I run the Professional Pen, which is the first Black-owned script consultancy in Hollywood. So I have been teaching screenwriting for years. I have taught screenwriting. Well, I taught filmmaking, film analysis at Florida State University, and I taught screenwriting at New York Film Academy. So this is something that I have been doing for quite some time. And so HillmanTok just happened to come around, and now I am bringing you guys in so that you can have access to it. So if you really want to participate in the workshops and everything that we have coming up, we have things that are going to start up in February. Go over to the school app and make sure you're signed up so that you can get notifications, etc. Now, TikTok moves pretty fast, so I'm going to try to see what your questions are. I saw somebody ask something about writer's block. So I'm going to answer that question for you. In my opinion, writer's block comes from two places. One is lack of confidence. The other is lack of preparation. Both of those are on you, right? So the lack of confidence comes from setting this expectation that you have to be perfect, setting this expectation that you need to be Shonda Rhimes, setting this expectation that you need to be Steven Spielberg and it's your first screenplay. You don't expect a newborn baby to walk. So why are you expecting yourself as a newbie screenwriter to excel on a level of experienced screenwriters when it's your first time around? You become great at writing by writing. So it may not be your first script, your second script, or your third script that really is structurally sound. The characters are developed, you understand world building, etc. If it is your first screenplay, as in it's your first story, it will go draft after draft after draft. So you have to give yourself grace to not know what you're doing. Okay? So that is a confidence thing. And if you are in your head about it, it will block your creativity. So sometimes you just need to take a break from it. When you come back to it, your eyes will be open to something brand new. There will be things that you didn't even see before. Even if you just don't look at it for a week and come back to it, you can't imagine how differently you will start to see it and how you will find your way out of some of your holes. So the second thing is preparation. You have to prepare to write. A lot of writers go straight to the page. They don't do any work before that, pre-work before that. I believe, and this is the system, the process that I teach. I have workbooks for this process. If you're looking for them, they're at theprofessionalpen.com/workbooks. If we have one of our note takers or one of our TAs in the class, if you would put these links in the comments for me, that would be really helpful. So the first link was school.com, SKOOL.com/screenwriters. The second one is theprofessionalpen.com/workbooks. Thank you so much to the TAs out there, so you can help your classmates find the resources they need. In this preparation, I start off with the Pixar formula reloaded. Pixar has a formula. You can go out there and find it on your own. I have taken this formula and added some nuggets so that you can really understand what your story is before you start writing. And I say, if you can't fill out that Pixar formula, you're not ready to write. So what's great about the Pixar formula is it shows you what you don't know. And a lot of writing and learning is not knowing what you don't know. The Pixar formula points out, oh, you don't know this. And if you don't know it, now you have to take the time out to figure it out before you get to writing on the page. So you can find that Pixar formula on the website. All you have to do is you can search for it if you can't find it. It comes free in some of those workbooks. But if you just want to buy it on its own, then go ahead and search for the Pixar formula on my website, theprofessionalpen.com. The second thing is you need to develop your characters. You need to know who they are. They need to be real people. You need to know who they are, what they want, where they're from, what they need, what their traumas are, what they're trying to heal. Because what we're watching them do, physically watching them do, actively watching them try to achieve, is not just so that they can reach their external goal, but it's so they can heal their internal wounds. You have to do that work to know what that is, so that your characters aren't being forced to do things on the page. They're doing things that will come naturally to them. That's what you want your characters to do. But you don't know if you haven't done the work of developing the characters, right? And so I have a workbook called the Who Am I workbook, and it is all about developing characters. So you can look for that as well. Then I have a workbook called Goals, because this is about making your characters active. A lot of the times people get stuck on the page and then they get blocked. So again, we're talking about writer's block. And I think one of the reasons you get blocked is because of lack of preparation. You're blocked because you don't know where the story is going. You're blocked because you don't know what your characters are trying to do. You're blocked because you don't know how they're going to do what they're trying to do. It's like getting on the road and driving to a place you've never been without using Google Maps. And it's here for you as a resource. So use it. The same thing is true for understanding what those goals are, understanding what you're trying to accomplish, and then being able to do a beat sheet and or an outline where you outline every single scene in that script before you get to writing the script, so that you can know exactly. I hate when chapstick like cakes up. You can know exactly what your character is going to be doing, and you can find those plot holes ahead of time. You want to know the plot holes before you start writing. So I actually, if you guys look on my page, you'll see that I've been talking about screenwriting this whole time. The algorithm just wasn't showing y'all. Okay. I have videos showing you where I am using these workbooks for my own process. So I just finished writing a feature film, and I used those workbooks in order to write that feature film. And now I have completed my one sheet for it, and I have completed my pitch deck for it. And now I'm preparing to go out and pitch and find my attachments and things like that. So if you want to see more about how those workbooks work, some of those videos are on the website, but you can just like go look at the videos that are already on my page. Every single thing except for, maybe like 5%. I might get up there and start talking about something else that's random. But 95%, of what I'm talking about on my page is screenwriting related. The majority of it is me doing analysis on films and on TV shows, because you learn a lot about writing through looking at other people's scripts, watching other things, and trying to figure out why they're making the decisions that they're making. That's why you're going to watch things. And the longer y'all stay focused in and tuned in with me, the more I'm going to ruin your entertainment experience. So if you want to be able to watch TV just for entertainment, you might not want to keep following me. I am going to make it really hard for you to just watch things for entertainment. As a matter of fact, I came on here just to say hello to you guys before I go start watching Paradise on Hulu. They have 3 episodes up, so I'm going to go watch those 3 episodes. I already started watching the pilot, and I'm not enjoying myself. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just not enjoying myself. And I think Sterling K. Brown is absolutely fantastic. I'm just simply not enjoying myself. I have reasons that I'm not enjoying myself. I will talk about them once I decide to do an analysis. I haven't decided if I'm going to do analysis episode per episode. I'm not sure I'll be interested enough to say something episode per episode. So I might wait until the whole season is out before I talk about it. But because I haven't finished the pilot, I think it's unfair if I start talking about the things that aren't moving me right now. So I'm going to wait until I finish the whole pilot. All right, I'm scrolling through to see what people's questions are. You can break the writer's block. You can break the writer's block. Take it point by point, like I just talked about. Just figure out what your characters are trying to do. Just figure out who your characters are. Learn how to outline, and you can get there. It's going to take time. So if you're looking for it to happen overnight, if you're looking for like, oh, I got an idea and it's going to be on TV next month, then that goes back to the confidence thing and setting expectations too high. because then when you don't reach that expectation, you feel low and you don't want to write. A lot of what professional writers are doing is discipline. We're not writing because we want to half the time. We're writing because we have to. We're writing on deadline. Like no matter what, the studio, the network, the production company, the producer, the executive, whoever they are waiting on our pages and we have to write them. So you have to figure out how to push past the writer's block if you want to be a professional writer. Some people don't want to be a professional writer. They just want to write on the side. It's a hobby for them, or it's just something fun that they enjoy doing every now and again. And that's great. If you want to do this professionally, you have to get discipline. Yes, Robin, there is an app. It's not just TikTok. It's not just TikTok. So school.com/screenwriters. The app is also School, SKOOL. When you get in there, search for Screenwriters and you will find us. We are 6,000 something deep. And the post that I put up today has more than 200 comments. We're in there and we are learning. There's access to courses. There's access to all kinds of stuff in there. So yes, it's not just TikTok. Okay, let's see. I'm scrolling through to see what people are saying. I've learned not to push once I get to a point where the story isn't flowing and then I come back. Yeah, just come back to it. Okay, taught yourself. Yeah, most of us teach ourselves, right? Not most of us don't go to film school. I did go to film school. But most writers out here in Los Angeles did not go to film school. So you can teach yourself. What's great is when I was learning screenwriting, there was no YouTube. There were barely computers. Okay. There was no access to other people's screenplays. There were transcripts out there, but not very many screenplays that you can get your hands on. You guys now have access to everything, including me, where I'm just giving you the game. This didn't exist for me at all. So I literally, when I applied to film school, they asked me for a feature script. And I was like, why would they be asking me for a feature script when I'm trying to get into school so I can learn how to write one? Because I went to film school for graduate school. So I had my MFA. I had to teach myself. There was only one screenwriting book in my entire college town. The entire college town. And I bought it, baby, because there was no Amazon. Not to say that it didn't exist, because I don't know when Amazon first started. But again, when I was in college, not everybody had a laptop. Not everybody had access to internet. People were still going to the computer lab. You know what I mean? People were still using typewriters. I was just talking about that earlier today. Don't judge me about how old I am. But people were still using typewriters. So there was no, oh, let me just order this online real quick. I had to go find the only book about screenwriting in my whole college town and teach myself how to write a screenplay. I didn't know anything about structure. I was just going on my natural abilities. When I went back to read it, of course, it's a mess, but it wasn't as much of a mess as it could be because I have a natural inkling for storytelling. But I didn't know anything about writing a screenplay. So yes, you should be teaching yourself. Teach yourself and then utilize all of the resources that are out there. I have a YouTube page that has stuff on it. I have an Instagram page that has stuff. Obviously, I have TikTok. Most of the videos are the same, but not. The YouTube videos tend to be a little bit longer because it, the algorithm won't suppress it. Whereas TikTok and Instagram doesn't really like too long of a video. You know what I mean? But there are free resources out there. I have hundreds of people now logged into my website because they're accessing our free screenplay vault. And in that vault, I keep screenplays written by Black people. The reason that I do that is because they're hard to find. So whenever I find them, I put them in there. And I think it's very important that people are able to read from people who look like them, because we all know that we have different experiences in life. We just do. It is what it is. So if you grew up on watching certain things, it's good for you to read that so you can see what choices they made, not just what people have told us are the classics and the things that we should teach from. So anytime I teach a class, I purposefully don't teach from the classics. I actually have a video on that on my page, and I'll probably repost it soon because I think it's something that should be spoken about now. But I don't teach from the classics, and I'm never going to. I teach from contemporary stuff, and I teach from my classics, stuff that I grew up on, because I learned storytelling through Black stuff, from Coming to America to Players Club to Set It Off. Set It Off is structurally perfect. I didn't say the movie is perfect. Obviously, it's subjective on what you like and what you don't like. Structurally, perfection. And people wouldn't think about that because it's about 4 black women robbing banks. Structurally perfect. I actually taught a class on Set It Off. We went frame by frame in the movie, frame by frame, sequence by sequence, and broke down that structure. And we're going to do a lot of that this year as well. So that'll be open to you guys to participate. Okay. I'm looking, still scrolling and trying to see what your questions are. That's all right. You're here. I'm okay if you're tardy to the party. You're here. You struggle with beat sheets. Hey, I've got a workbook to help you on the beat sheet. And for those who don't know what a beat sheet is, consider it bullet points of what's happening in your screenplay. So an outline is far more specific. An outline is, here's the scene heading, here's what's happening in the scene. Here's the scene heading, here's what's happening in the scene. The beat sheet are the more general points so that you know, let's use a movie that we know well. I'm going to use Endgame because I think it's one of the best movies ever. So the first beat would be that, I'm trying to remember the first thing we see. The first thing we see in Endgame is we start with, I can't even think of anybody's names right now. My goodness. Jeremy Renner's character when he's out with his family and then his daughter blows to dust. That's what that beat would be, right? That we're being reminded from what happened in the last movie, that people are now, half the people are gone, half the population. The second beat would be present day, showing what our heroes look like today. The next beat would be, not Captain, what's her name? I don't even like her character as much as I love the Avengers. What's the chick? Miss Marvel, child. Captain Marvel, whatever her name is. That beat would be her coming back, and this is the thing that gives them an opportunity to go find your boy, go get the, I don't have any language today, and this is one of my favorite movies. I watch this thing like twice a year, but you guys know what I'm talking about. They go, they get it. I mean, they're trying to get it, but they cut his head off before they can. That's another beat. So are there other things that happen in between those beats? Yes. But what you're telling yourself is, I need a beat that sets up what happened in the last movie. I need a beat that sets up their normal life, what they're looking like now since everybody blew away. And then I need another beat showing them trying to defeat the antagonist, but losing, because that sets us up for the rest of it. So let's just say if they didn't know that they were going to try to cut his head off or cut his hand off or whatever, and that they cut the head off, they might not have known what the specifics were going to be. But what they knew is that they needed a moment where the Avengers lose, because it's in that loss that thrust us into the rest of the film. Do you know what I'm saying? So those are the 3 beats that you would put down instead of putting every single detail about what happens in those beats or in between those beats. You just need to be able to get from one thing to the next. Like, what are the big things that I need to show? And that's by understanding story structure in the first place and knowing what those beats are. Knowing what the beats are. Now, I'm going to go through them quickly here. I'm not going to give you the definition of each one because that's going to take too long, and that's not necessarily what we're here today for, but I'm going to be putting up videos that teach you what these things are. But the big beats that you need to know for your script that you can get in the Pixar formula that you will be putting in your beat sheet. 1, you need to know the normal. 2, we need to establish who our protagonist is. 3, you need an inciting incident. 4, you need to know what their goal is. 5, there's a debate because they have to accept the adventure. 6, if this is a feature film, you need to turn into act 2. If this is TV, you don't necessarily worry about that turn. 7, I'm probably going to mess up my numbers here, but 7, you're in your trial and error, which means they are trying to reach their goal. They are trying to solve the problem. And that's not going to work out well, because if it did, then you had no movie, right? So there have to be some complications along the way. 8, you need a midpoint. 9, you need a rock bottom or a false victory. 10, you need a redirection from that rock bottom or false victory. 11, you need a climax. 12, you need a resolution. 13, optional, a new normal. Now, some people call these terms different things. Those are the terms that I use to teach my students. That's the Shannan E. Johnson way. That's the professional pen way. That's what y'all see back there. That's the professional pen way. Those are the terms that I use. So those are the beats that you will learn from me in class, in the videos that I put up. But that's what should be on your beat sheet. You should be able to know what happens in each of those beats. And in your outline, you have to be detailed to know how you get to each beat, what happens in between each beat, what actually happens in that beat. Whereas in your beat sheet, you get to be a little more general, just about like, this is what's happening in the story. In the outline, you need specificity. So hopefully that answers your question. All right. You leaving early? Leaving class early. We haven't even been here 20 minutes. Okay, let's see. I am going to see how many more questions there are. Oh, you like Paradise? Good. I'm glad you like it. Hopefully it turns around for me. One of my favorite things is to watch a movie and call how it ends or what the characters will do. Yeah, I'm almost always ahead of the game. You know what movie I wasn't ahead of the game? I was ahead more than a lot of other people, but I wasn't all the way ahead like I usually am. It's called Caddo Lake. I watched it on HBO Max. It might be available in some other places. Caddo Lake. M. Night Shyamalan. So for people who don't know who M. Night Shyamalan is, that is The Sixth Sense. I See Dead People. Do you remember how you felt when Bruce Lee? Do you remember how you felt when Bruce Willis's character realized he was dead? He was the ghost. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen that movie, it's very, very, very old. But spoiler alert, do you remember how you felt when you realized Bruce Willis was dead? You get one of those same moments in Caddo Lake. You're like this. So good. I rarely watch things that I find good. But I try to teach from good, bad, and indifferent because I think as writers, we can learn from all of it. All of it, all of it. All right, good. Trying to write your first short film. Hope to be able to help you. So for those of you who are, this much more advanced, right? Where you know a little bit, you've been writing already. We have services if you already have a screenplay and you're looking for feedback. So again, go to our website, theprofessionalpen.com. And there are services there. So if you've already written your short film, we have a consultation for that. If you've already written your feature or your TV episode, we have development notes for that. So just go to the website, peruse it, see what you see. But the Professional Pen existed before HillmanTok. These services existed before HillmanTok. This is a great opportunity for publicity for my company. But these things exist, so our infrastructure is already there. All you have to do is go to the website and check it out. And there are so many resources for you. Okay, let's see. I was reading somebody's comment. No problem. It's okay that you're late. Yeah, the preview of Paradise didn't move me either. Sterling K. Brown moved me. But that's the point of getting a really good actor, right? Is that they're supposed to bring in people. You're welcome. I love talking about screenwriting. So the question is, what software do you prefer? I prefer Final Draft. It is the industry standard. Now, there are some that are coming, in close second and third these days. Gotta think of the names of them. It's right on the tip of my tongue. If it comes to me, I'll tell you. But Final Draft, always gonna get you right. Just buy it, okay? Just buy it. Is it expensive? In my opinion, in comparison to other things, no. But you have to be willing to invest in yourself. You have to be willing to invest in your craft. And some of these other screenwriting softwares that are free to you do not format your screenplay correctly. I'm not telling you this because I'm hating. I'm not telling you this because I just want you to spend money. I'm telling you this because this is true. I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know if it's Celtics, or what it is, but it formats your screenplays improperly. And then people send them to me and I'm giving them notes on their formatting. They're like, oh, but I used X, Y, and Z. I can already tell which software they used by looking at the mistakes that they're making. I can tell because I'm like, your software shouldn't have even allowed you to do this. Now, why they would make a software and then not have it format the script correctly, I do not know. With that being said, if you understand how to format, then use the free one because you will catch the mistakes. If you don't understand how to format, you need one of the ones that will do it for you. What are these other two? Because there's another one that I really like. And it's on the tip of my tongue and I just can't remember what it is. But if I do, I will tell you. No, you don't need to message me for the books. Just go to professionalpen.com/workbooks. Can this also be applied to writing books? Storytelling is storytelling, but screenplay structure is totally different from novels, from creative writing. So I will say that. You can always learn a lot about character, yes. Act structure, sure. But it's different. It's a different medium. It's the same thing for plays, right? Plays are not novels. Novels are not screenplays. Screenplays for features are not TV scripts. The structures are different. The format, a little different. Screenplay formatting, totally different from plays and books, as you guys know. Well, you might not know it's different from plays, but it's different from books. That's obvious. But it's different from plays too. So it's not that there can't be anything that transfers, but screenwriting is screenwriting. Novel writing is novel writing. All right. Hopefully you get on the app. We have 6,000 people in there. Join us. Join us. All right. Let's see. You're welcome, Sheba. You guys are welcome. All right. I'm just trying to see if there is, was it Robert McKee? No. I'm trying to think of a screenwriting software, not a book. But this person is talking about, Robert McKee has a book called Story. And it's a great place to start. Blake Snyder has a book called Save the Cat. Awesome place to start. Both of them are also available in audiobooks. And for those of you who didn't know, if you get a library card, you can get free audiobooks. I haven't paid for an audiobook in years. So I don't have to pay for Audible. I get them from my library. So get you a library card, download the app for your library, and start listening for free. You're welcome on that one. I don't know if there are any other professors on school. So that's up to you. If they whoever's class you're in, you need to see how they're delivering their instruction because I don't know. I don't know. Hello. Would writing a script for a show be better than writing a book? I'm glad you asked this question. It goes into what I said earlier. A book is not a screenplay. Neither one is better. Neither one is easier. I'm going to leave it at that. Neither one. If you know how to write books, then you will likely be more efficient at writing a book than you will at learning a whole new skill, because it is a whole new skill, and writing a screenplay. If you know how to write screenplays, you will likely do that more efficiently than learning an entirely new skill to write a book. And then the other thing that I will say, even though Hollywood buys a lot of IP, a lot of existing intellectual property, for people who don't know what IP means, they are buying it because that IP has proven to already have an audience. You know what that means? That means if you decide to write a book and nobody buys it, why would Hollywood? Just let that marinate, right? So if you decide to write a book, that means you need to market that joint. That means you need to garner an audience for that joint. Because if you don't, then you just told Hollywood nobody cares about the story. You're like, I wrote this book and 5 people read it and those 5 people were in my family. And Hollywood is going to say, so what do we want it for? So I try to tell people who are like, yeah, I'm going to write the book and then I'm going to turn it into the screenplay. I mean, but if you write the book and nobody buys it, then you prove to Hollywood that they don't need to buy it. So you have to think about the strategy of it all. None of it is easy. None of it. If you're looking for the easiest way into this industry, you're in the wrong industry. Don't come into it. Just don't. You're going to set yourself up for failure. This is not an easy industry to be in, right? And there's a difference between just wanting to write stuff for yourself, just wanting to write stuff for your family, and just wanting to do it as a hobby and, a way to take your mind off of things and relieve stress. And then there's another thing to decide you want to be a professional writer, right? So if you decide you want to be a professional writer, pick something and just get great at it. You know what I mean? Getting great at your craft is the thing that's going to move you. Trying to find the easy way through is just going to have you all over the place and you may not end up where you want to be. You know what I mean? So just lock in. Focus in. Okay. I'm way behind on y'all's questions. Yeah, Endgame is so good. It is the best movie. Not Infinity War was better. Oh no. Endgame is perfect. Yes, thank you, Hawkeye. I could not think of that man's name. That's how far back I am in these Captain Marvel, Thanos, the Stones. Thank you. All of these words I couldn't think of at the time. And I love Endgame. Love it. You know what? Maybe we'll do a class. See, we're going to be in class all day. See, this is the problem. When we do the film analysis class and we actually watch the film together, we watch it sequence by sequence, it takes forever. We never make it through the whole film. Even if it's a 3-hour class, we never make it. We just did American Fiction and we read the script and it was a 3-hour class and we still didn't make it to the end. And that was the script. But I think we should do Endgame this year. I think we should watch it and we should analyze it. Yeah, I think so. All right, I'm going to skip down to the bottom because I have, is Studio Binder the software? No, it's not. That's not the software I was thinking about. Is it harder to push an anthology series? No, I don't think so. You just need to go to a place where they make anthologies. Go to a place where that's something that they want to do. Not everybody wants to do that. What are my thoughts on Stage 32? I think my thoughts on anything is you need to research it. And then you have to take the risk and try it out. And if it meets your expectations, then continue to do it. And if it doesn't, don't. Now, Stage 32 is reputable, but that doesn't mean that they will meet your expectations any way that even working with me will meet your expectations, right? But you have to be willing to take that leap. It's like moving to another city and needing to find somebody to do your hair. You can ask all the people, but you won't know until you sit in the chair. You won't know until you sit in the chair. What's a good way of determining a show or movie's length from the script? Okay, I need you to give me a little more information so that I understand your question. Are you saying, as a writer, how many pages your script should be? Or are you saying, after you've written the script, how do you know the runtime based on the pages? Let me know what your actual question is, and I will answer it. Let's see. Yeah, everyone is asleep on the public libraries. They are asleep on it. What if you have a show concept but aren't a great writer? Should you still learn screenwriting and try? No, you should be a producer. And you should raise money so that you can hire a writer. That's what producers do. If you don't want to write, don't write. I'm not saying that to discourage you. You know what I mean? It's a whole new skill. If you are not interested in doing it, don't do it. Don't do it. There are so many different positions in this industry for you to be creative, for you to have creative input, and honestly, more creative input than the writers. I want you to hear that from me because I want you to be fully aware of how this industry works. Okay? Be a producer. Come up with the ideas, hire the writers, get them to write it, and now you have the hard job, producer, which is why you get paid last, producer. Producer, your job is all risk and sometimes no reward. So when you're watching the Academy Awards, the Oscars, and they give away Best Picture, who is the person who accepts the award? The producer. Why? Because they made that thing happen. They made it happen. It would not have happened without them. So your job as the producer is also getting into the room to pitch it, figuring out what the budget is going to be, getting the attachments to the screenplay. So, hey, if you say this is what you want to do and this is a game you want to be in, all right, what are you bringing to the table besides this idea? That's what you have to ask yourself. You want to step into that producer role. But no, if you don't want to write, don't write. There are too many other people out here who write. Hire them. The majority of the people in Hollywood, the majority of the writers in Hollywood who are professional working writers who stay booked are contract writers. They're not writing their own ideas. They're writing other people's ideas. So that's a news flash as well, writers. I'm going to burst your bubble with that as well, writers. A lot of the times we tell ourselves that, oh, I want to be a writer because I'm so creative and I have so many ideas and I just want to tell all my stories. The majority of the writers who are making money, who are able to pay for their livelihood, they are writing other people's stuff. Producers are hiring them on contract. They are on somebody else's writing staff. That's not their idea. It's the creator's idea. It's the showrunner's idea, not theirs. But that's where they are, writing for other people. So that's why it's very important for you to learn structure, because this is not just about you having 5 years to write your own idea. This is, I understand structure, I understand story, and I can write anything that needs to be written, and I can do it on deadline. That's what our job is. That's what our job is. I have just been hired to polish a screenplay. And that basically means doing some story editing, right? Some revising, not too big, so it's not a rewrite, but doing some story editing. The producers have given me notes that I need to follow. Some of them are big, some of them are small. It's not my script, it's someone else's script. I'm being hired to come and do the polish, to do the revisions, to make the changes for the producers, and to also proofread and format it so they can start sending it out to try to get people cast in it, to try to get, to go into pre-production, right? I have to turn that in 2 weeks. 2. And they actually want it earlier than that. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get it to them earlier than that. So we're having meetings this week. And by maybe the weekend, if not Monday, I'm going to be buckling down. I got to come up with a strategy and a plan on how I'm going to make it through this script. Because what you don't do is just open the thing and start changing it. You are asking for trouble, right? You have to have a strategy and a plan. And I plan to do that so that I can get through it and get it turned in on time. Because we do things on time here. Okay? We do things on time. Okay, jazz studies professor. Yes, final draft is great. Oh, great. I'm glad your daughter is taking screenwriting. Writer's Duet. I've never used Writer's Duet. And so I don't really have too many comments on it. Other people love it. But that's not the one I was trying to think of. The two I'm trying to think of are new. Hold on, Shannon. Open your computer. The two that I'm trying to think of are new. And I have worked with, one of them is called So Create. Let's figure out what the other one is called. The other one, which has great outlining tools, and it's a new kid on the block. Arc Studio. Now, in my opinion, if I had to rank them, I would do Final Draft, Arc Studio, So Create. So Create, in my opinion, it's for visual learners. They have a lot of options for you to add visuals to your screenplay. I also think it's great for younger people. It's a very lively and vibrant platform, and it's very different from using other screenwriting software that you've been used to. So if you are interested in it, just look into it. Again, it's trial and error. Find the one that works best for you. I've been using Final Draft for 20 something years. And so even though I've worked with these other two softwares and they've asked me, to work with them, it's kind of like an old dog, new tricks kind of thing. Even though I think their software is great, I'm just used to using what I'm using. You know what I'm saying? I can get in Final Draft and I can just go versus getting on the newer software and having to kind of learn it a little bit. haven't put the time in to really do that. But I think what they have going on is great. Okay, yes to both questions. Let me remember what the questions were. The question was, how do you know how long your script should be? And how do you know what the runtime is going to be based on the page count? Consider page count 1 minute per page. That's the general rule, which means if your script is 120 pages, you have just written a 2-hour film, give or take. Cool, cool. Page count. Depending upon the format of the script, there is an industry standard page count. Your job is to know what you're writing. If you're writing a feature script, your job is to go look at the genre of scripts know what kind of scripts you're writing, and then go look at other scripts of that genre. An action film is not going to be the same length as a horror, a comedy, a romance, a biopic, right? Dramas tend to be longer. Dramas can go up to 120 pages. Biopics might be a little bit more than that because they have a lot more ground to cover. Horrors are 75 pages. Rom-coms, 90. Now, 90 is what you hit knowing you got a feature. Some people say once you get to 75, you're in feature territory. But for the most part, 90 pages is what people are going to write for a feature. Again, horrors tend to be a little bit shorter. When you're writing television, 1 hour television is 60 pages because, like, did we just say 1 minute per page? Howsoever, if you're writing for television, for primetime TV like ABC, NBC, etc., they have commercials. So you won't actually have 60 pages. You'll have closer to 52 to 55 because they have to play X amount of commercials, right? And the same is becoming true for streamers. But streamers don't have the added complexity of having to program to a block of time. Streamers can just say, this is a 45-minute show. Prime time, it's either 30 minutes or an hour, including commercials. Okay, so if you're writing an hour long thing, give or take 60 pages. Not give or take. 60 or less pages for an hour. For half-hour single camera, 30 pages. For half-hour multi-camera, 45 pages or so. And that's because the formatting is different. So even though it's still only 30 minutes of content, it looks different on the page and takes up more space. So that's something that you have to ask yourself. What are you writing? And then your job is to go read stuff that's similar to what you're writing so that you can know how to write it. If you want to write action films, you don't learn, I'm not going to say you don't learn anything. Don't take me literally, but you don't learn much from reading half-hour comedies. If you want to write action films, you need to be reading action films, right? If you want to write romance dramas, you don't learn a whole lot from reading How to Get Away with Murder. It could be fun. You can learn lessons about, structure and things or whatever, but reading people who write what you write is how you can start to learn how to write it yourself. Okay. Yes, Set It Off is structurally perfect. Libraries. Boys in the Hood. Yes, Boys in the Hood is one of the best coming of age stories to ever be told. It really is. I don't remember which links we were talking about, but some people have put them in the comments. Any link you're looking for, you can find at theprofessionalpen.com. And yes, I do speak quickly. I don't know if the lives do captions. Does anybody know? I know on my videos, there are automatic captions there, but on live, I don't know if it does captions. I don't see, let me see, because I do speak quickly. I don't see anything that says anything about captions. So I'll look into that a little bit more. Just joined the site. Should I be reading the script for American Fiction now? We just put up the discussion post yesterday. So if you read it today, you can still participate in the discussion post. It's not going to go anywhere. So you can read it today, tomorrow, and still come back to the discussion post. It's totally up to you. What's your best advice for someone who loves writing but doesn't necessarily know where to start? Because you won't figure it out until you start. You know what I mean? Just start. And then be in Screenwriting 101. Watch the videos. Take what you've learned and implement it in your writing. But you learn how to write by writing. So just start. You will not know what you don't know until you start. Start. All right, let's see. Yes, producing is a lot of work. A lot of work. Let's see. All right, I'm going to take, oh yes, 10:03. I'm going to take 2 more questions and then we will shut down class for now. So here's a good question. Taya, is it Taya or Tyja? It's her question is, what kind of jobs did you start with to get into this career? Hollywood is not a place that has a process to get anywhere. So it's not like becoming a doctor where you have to go to undergrad for 4 years, then you go to medical school for 4 years, then you have an internship for 2 years, and then you go through your residency, and then like that doesn't exist, right? So I can tell you what positions I had, but that doesn't necessarily get me to where I am, other than the fact that that was my journey. Somebody else could do the exact same thing and end up in a whole nother place. It's not even, it's not even like the NFL or the NBA or professional sports. There is no, if I go to this school and I get recruited, then I get on the team. It just doesn't exist that way. That's why it's a who you know kind of place and a what you know kind of place and a just start kind of place. Just get in, just move out here and just start. And in 10 years, you will turn around and go, whoa, how did I get here? Right? So I started off interning. I interned in everything. I interned in casting at ABC. It was actually on a Gabrielle Union project that didn't go anywhere. I was at the Dr. Phil show. I was at Cube Vision, which is Ice Cube's production company. That's where I started learning development. So development is my specialty. I am a writer and I develop other writers. So development is what I do. I started learning it at Ice Cube's production company. Where else did I intern? I was a production assistant. Anybody can be a production assistant. That basically means you're on set doing whatever needs to be done. I'm not going to try to make it seem like there's one particular thing you do as a production assistant. You are the most junior person on the set and you're just there to help get things done. Now, once you get there, they might give you a particular role that you're doing for the day, but you're a production assistant. I've been a production assistant on films. I was an assistant to a director, not an assistant director. I was an assistant to a director on a film. That's where I got to meet Don Cheadle. He was nice. I have also been an assistant director, a first assistant director and a second assistant director. I'm not going to go into the details right now because we're jumping off, but I've been that on the film set. My paid jobs, because those were all, the production assistant jobs were paid, but I was living in a place where you walk in and sit on the bed. I didn't have cable. I had a DVD player and I was watching Blockbuster online. And all I did was eat. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't hang out. I didn't do anything. I wasn't making too much money. But I lived. I survived. I survived. My first actual paid job, I was an executive assistant to a producer on Intervention. Do y'all know that show, Intervention? So I did that. Then I went to film school. And when I came out of film school, I became a junior executive at the Sci-Fi Channel. And so that's where I really learned development. I worked with producers, writers, etc., to develop their ideas from pitch to production. I read all of the scripts for the Sci-Fi Channel shows to give notes. I watched all of the tapes that came in to give notes on all of the tapes. If I were to be on set, I was the most senior person on set because the studio and the network are king. Not the producer, not the director, not the writer, the money people, the distribution people, the people who are making this thing happen. And so that was me. And so that's where I really learned development. I learned a lot about screenwriting in film school, and then I learned development in my development job. And that's how I am now a script consultant. I took everything that I understood and liked about development and turned it into my own thing. So I'm the first Black-owned script consultancy in Hollywood. It's my job to get you in a confident place so that you can make your scripted content. I do not work with unscripted content. I only work with scripted content for the screen. I do not work with novels. I do not work with plays. I work with scripted content for the screen, TV or film. We will work with shorts. We will work with web series, but TV or film, okay? Tips on time management with screenwriting: get disciplined. Put it in your calendar. Let me see if I can show y'all my calendar real quick. My writing hours are not in here as much as they used to be, but when I was writing my script, and now I'm supposed to be writing another one, but because I have a lot going on, including trying to keep up with HillmanTok, because Lord of mercy, because I have a lot going on, are my writing hours in here? Looks like they disappeared. They used to be in there more. But I want to show you guys my calendar. All right, let me see. How do I turn this? All right, can y'all see that? So, writing hour, writing hour, writing hour. Let's go to the next week. Writing hour, writing hour. Next, writing hour, writing hour, writing hour. I'm supposed to also write on Saturdays, but things keep happening. Writing, which overlaps, so that means that didn't happen. Writing only on this day. Because if I don't write, I take it off my calendar so that when I look back at it, I know when I actually wrote. Writing. Writing. No writing. Look at this. I didn't have any time to write. I had so much stuff to do. One time I got to write, but look, it overlapped with something, so maybe I didn't write. Writing. So I say that to say, you got to get disciplined and you have to make it happen. It's just like anything else you're doing in life. It's just like being in college, which I guess you guys are doing again, right? You have to look at your schedule and make dedicated time. And as you can see, it was just an hour. It was just an hour. And sometimes I wasn't able to do that hour. So I only did 10 minutes or I only did 20 minutes. Sometimes I had an event to go to. So I would have notes on my phone and I would be writing in the notes on my phone while I was in the Uber going to the event. That counts as writing. Just write. Put it in your schedule and write. All right. Hey, there go my girl. Hey, Latasha, how are you? Latasha is a TV writer out here in Los Angeles. She is doing her thing and she's in the comments. So if you guys see her, go ahead and follow her. You can learn a lot from her as well. She's a great storyteller. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and jump, but I appreciate you guys being here. Let's talk about next steps. I'm sure you guys have a whole lot of questions in here, but it's just really hard to keep up with. But thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for participating on TikTok and for participating on the school platform. Again, I'm going to be putting up mini lessons here on the school platform. I'm here on TikTok. I will be putting up mini lessons on the school platform. But when it comes to the actual factual learning, we will have paid workshops and paid courses for those people who are really trying to write their screenplay, right? I know some people are just enjoying the creativity, and that's fine. There will be lots of free options for you, okay? There will be lots and lots of free options for you. For those people who want to get into the nitty-gritty and really learn this, we will have some paid options for you because, as I said, this is my full-time business, so this is how I make my living, okay? Now, those of you who are interested in these HBCU t-shirts, I only have a few left. We don't have any more mediums. We have one small, 3 extra larges, and then some 2 extra larges. I can't put the link in this live because then it flagged me last time. So, but the links are in my other videos, and it's on my TikTok shop profile on the website. So feel free to look there. Is the in-game play though free? I'm not sure what you're asking, Shantae. Can you please retype that? Yeah, it only allows you to, oh yeah, it's in my bio, I think. I really don't know how to do it, but it's supposed to be in there. The link to the t-shirts is supposed to be in there. But as you can see, I have a few left. They're limited edition. They are not going to be reprinted. So we will be the only people here in our little HillmanTok community that have it. I have links in my bio already. So it only allows you to put one link that goes outside of the platform. That one goes to school. And then the other two links are for YouTube and Instagram. It doesn't allow me to just add my own link. The in-game, we haven't done an in-game analysis. We're talking about possibly doing one. So we have not done one. Okay, so I said you can follow Just Latasha, JustLatasha. Just Latasha. She is a TV writer out here, and she's up and coming. So she often talks about her journey of what that looks like. So if you just want to, so she's not necessarily teaching, but she is sharing her experience with you as someone who is a writer out here in Hollywood. No, those classes are not going to be free. Anything that's on TikTok is obviously free. Anything that's on the school app is obviously free. Any workshops I hold will not be free. Those will be paid, because don't you want to pay me for my time? Don't you want to pay me for my time? I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all a lot. Okay, so next up, we have writing hours on February 2nd at noon PT. You have to be on the school app in order to register. It's only $5 to attend writing hours. You know what? I don't know how to post the replay of the live. I'm gonna have to look into that, because I've gone live a few times. I've done some writing hours on here before, and I can't figure out what I'm supposed to do with it. So I will figure it out. Yes, Latasha does do great breakdowns. She doesn't do them as much anymore, but she used to do them a lot on Twitter before Twitter became, whatever it is. So it's going to be noon on a Sunday. The 2nd is a Sunday. It's going to be noon PT. That's when writing hours are going to be. And then we have another set of writing hours, which will be on a Tuesday at 10 a.m. PT. For those who don't know, our school platform is international. We have pen pals all over the world. So we will do most of our workshops before noon, because the whole day is already gone for them. So if they're in London, Ireland, Africa, Asia, etc., thank you so much for the compliment. If they are in those countries, then it's already nighttime for them. So we do workshops often enough at different times to hope that people can join. So if you can't be there because it's 10 a.m. and you're at work, that's okay. There will be another one that'll be on a Saturday at some time. So I don't want you guys to worry yourselves about having to be everywhere all the time. Our services are for working professionals. Our services, okay, I've gone to the live settings in the creator thing. I've gone to replays. I can see it. I just don't know how to post it. That's the problem. It's like, I can see it, but I don't know how to post it. But I will look into it. I definitely will. What was I talking about? Oh, our services and our workshops are made for working creatives. They're made for working parents. They're made for people who are multitasking and trying to live life. So you don't have to worry about trying to be everywhere. Okay? Be where you can. Just invest in yourself. Invest in your craft. So as much as HillmanTok is free, as much as you're going to get a lot on this app, and like I said, just go to my page right now and scroll. All of that stuff is screenwriting stuff. There's a lot you can learn there, but some of it will be paid, and you just have to figure out what's in your budget and what level you want to commit right now. And when you're ready to full on commit, we're going to be here. even when HillmanTok is not happening, not to say that we want that to happen, but even when HillmanTok has finished the semester and who knows what'll happen after that, the professional pen is not going anywhere. We will be here. Okay? We will be here. I can download it, but then I don't know how long of a video I can upload, but I will definitely look into it. Don't worry about looking into it. I'll see what I can find.
And that's it. Want more content? Like, subscribe, and for notifications. Get notes on your script that get you unstuck at www.theprofessionalpen.com. I'm out.